Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Philip Norton here with Norton Trading. And today we'll take a look at the TNDM daily chart. It has been a couple of weeks since I took a look at this chart, or at least made a video for it for you guys. Of course, like many of you, I've been watching it and as well enjoying it quite a bit over the past really almost 2 weeks now. Since my last video, I, of course, bought shortly thereafter our last video, bought $40 calls, which have made me a good amount of money in the short term. I know some of you have been holding this stock for quite some time now. So I, been seeing people, of course, posting, things around, making, 3-4 times, 300-400%, profits and stuff on this. So a lot of big money coming in. And the best news I can actually give anyone watching this video that's been holding this for a long time is absolutely nothing has changed. Right? So when you look at this stock, it is a grinder. It has just been, taking its time and moving up. In fact, if you actually look at the stock, anytime it does something that really, gets away from its slow grind, right? It's just rolling along this 9 simple moving average, this yellow line here. Anytime it does something that is against the grind, it immediately has to almost find a correction, right? So you saw here, 4 pretty big green candles here and a big pop, and then it kind of got away from, from being on that 9, and it immediately pulled back, right? And then even after the pullback, consolidated a little bit here around 30. We saw just the other day, this week on Wednesday, Thursday, we had a nice big move up. And even though for several days we had a nice green move, a little bit of a kind of stall, green move, stall, green move, stall. Well, then we had Wednesday, we had our green move, but instead of a stall, it actually continued up to try to poke the 40 mark, right? It got kind of, pulled in to that next big dollar amount, the next 10 there at the 40 in that. So kind of 2 good moves in a row, and we immediately saw off that 40. It then just bounced all the way back down. Luckily, a lot of that got bought up in there from there, but immediately pulled back and kind of saying, slow down, right? This is a grind. We don't like to be moving too much in that. So then, of course, you saw the next day green, and now again we have a pull back in. Like most of these days on here, we're seeing higher highs. But we're definitely seeing, lower lows, really on a predominant amount of days, except, of course, Thursday. Like I said, we had that big pullback after 2 green days in a row. But so the trend is completely intact. It is just slowly chugging along, which is great news. So in this, if you are, bearish on this stock, if you are short here, nothing that I can tell you is any good news for you. In that. Now, of course, with any stock, especially stocks like TNDM, any bit of news can drastically change how this stock is going to move, but none of that's come out. So without a catalyst, you're really going to get kind of the same bit of movement. However, let's take a look at what's coming next and what to be aware of. So we're quickly approaching actually $44. Now, if you any of you have been watching the stock long enough, or if you just take a peek at the daily chart, here we'll just actually zoom out, you'll see long ago, back in 2016, when we had this drastic fall here, right, the open on this day was $44. So this is the entrance to a major gap from $44 to $53. So that is where we're coming up on. It'll be the first point of price action that I watch. Is as this stock kind of grinds up, we should see a little more volatility into this $44 gap. I would expect once it breaks $44, if it breaks $44, of course, but once it breaks, to see some large swinging moves and definitely some shooting up to 53. We actually had a release of a new price target just the other day at $45. And so we're kind of seeing that as the change of the price target, back from when people had it like it's $2 at the beginning of the year. So price targets are shooting around in that $45 range, the newest ones at least. So that is something to watch, right? Because it adds a little bit of, people are going to be watching $45. So as it starts to get extended off $45, you are going to, you could see it bounce back. So as I said, as it grinds up here to $44 over the next couple of days, we should see the entrance of a little more volatility in that. So we could see some drastic moves up several dollars up into 53, pullbacks, bouncing around. So definitely something to watch the price action on. First off, of course, watching the price action if we break 44 in that right away, or does it consolidate before it breaks it? Definitely a nice little consolidation under 44 would give me an opportunity to pick up a bunch of short-term calls for that pop. And then, of course, what happens once it gets into the gap? Does it fill it immediately and then bounce back down to 44? And does it kind of zigzag horizontally inside the gap? Or does it just clear the gap pretty quick and keep on moving? So definitely a lot coming in the coming days. And, of course, nobody knows exactly what it's going to do. But just great news, anyone that's still kind of holding the stock, wondering what's going on. Even after a day like today, where we lost almost 2%, is that it is still just holding this nice little grind and uptrend that's really been happening since, March, April. And so it has no sign of slowing down now. Definitely and really starting next week, I would imagine, by the end of this week, into next week, we should see it around that $44 price and see it really kicking up the volatility and see what kind of price action and moves we get. So as those days come, I'll hope to make a couple more videos of what we're seeing each day, and then if we have any indications that perhaps trend is changing. Right, if you have a price target at 45 and it immediately shoots up into this 53 range, 53.50, and bounces off, you definitely could get a stock. That you definitely could get a stock that pulls all the way back, even maybe past 44. Right as it makes some kind of big zigzags over around that $45 price target. Of course, at the moment, nothing at all tells me that anything is changing besides a nice slow grind. So who knows? Maybe we're having a conversation in 3 months and we're talking about, now it's up at all-time highs up here, sitting up near 90, and it's just grinding away. So at this moment, I would recommend anyone holding this stock to just sit on your hands and enjoy the ride. Like I said, I haven't posted a video in 2 weeks, but I have been watching this every day, and it seems like every other day I make a few more grand off it just sitting there and watching. So we'll keep it going from here. All right, thanks everyone.